Welcome back to the program. I'm Cynthia Are in Lagos. Now, the recent African Petroleum Conference that took place in Abuja, the subject of gas flaring was on the agenda. Our channel's energy correspondent, Olu Phillips, is here to tell us what flaring is and what the government is saying about it. Welcome, Olu, to Africa 54.
Thank you, Cynthia.
So tell us what flaring is and what the authorities are saying about it.
Gas will naturally come out when you extract crude from an onshore or offshore facility. So when you process crude, when you extract it and try to crack it down to other products, the byproduct or what exhumes is gas. But that gas is also useful. That's natural gas. You need gas for your energy mix. You need gas for all of the uses we use gas for. But when you burn that gas into the sky, when you see that pipe burning and showing fire at the end of it, you are actually flaring gas. That's what gas flare is. Burning of gas is what gas flaring is. And a lot of companies are involved in it. A lot of oil companies where you have extraction and exploration activity going on are involved in it. But the United Nations and everybody is thinking we need to stop doing this because it's hurting the atmosphere.
So what measures are we talking about here when it comes to reduction of flaring?
The output or the key takeaway from that conference in Abuja, which the Vice President graciously attended, said that the government will be committing to a national date of 2020, even though there's a United Nations date of 2030. Yeah, and that partnership is because we're a member of the World Bank Global Gas Flaring Reduction Partnership. So that is set for 2030,
yes.
But we have a national target before now, which is 2020, even though that date keeps shifting, started shifting from 2008 to 2010, and by 2012 there was a presidential committee that was set up to see how we can stop companies who do exploration activity from burning this gas but capture it. But the problem again is that they don't have the facility to capture this gas. The infrastructure is not there. So if government is making a national commitment
of 2020,
it means that gas infrastructure has to come in place. Gas pricing has to be right, because part of the complaints of the oil companies is that we cannot have to process this gas if we can't sell them.
Yes.
And we can't sell them because the pricing is not right. Mm-hmm. The prices are fixed. And those prices that are fixed are in contrast to the international gas price.
Now, based on the deadlines you're talking about with, the United Nations saying 2030, and we're looking at...
To finally end it, yes. Not just to reduce it, to end it globally.
End it. Can we really meet that 2020 deadline?
Everything is possible if you put the right, take the right steps. So if the federal government of Nigeria begins to take the right steps now, make sure that the oil companies are encouraged to install or get gas infrastructure, gas transportation, gas pipelines, then there'll be no gas going up there. It will be trapped. And you can use it for your energy mix. You can use it for power your generating plants, for light, for power generation. So there's a lot of use you can use for this gas that is being flared today. Yes. So if they set up all of these structures in place, 2020 is a date we can meet.
Well, I hope we meet it. Olu, thank you so much for joining us on Africa 54. We
Thank you very much.
Your time. Thank you very much. Now, Rwandan women living in the United States recently gathered in Washington to explore the challenges and opportunities they face while living outside of their homeland. Eddie Rwema has the story.
The meeting was the first of its kind and featured a series of discussions ranging from unlocking the strengths of Rwanda women here in the United States, how to raise the next generation of successful Rwandans, and staying connected with their homeland. Speaking at the event, the First Lady of Rwanda, Jeannette Kagame, who was the keynote speaker, called upon the diaspora to instill a sense of mission and responsibility in their children and to hold on to them their Rwandan heritage.
So those of us who grew up abroad know all too well the challenges of starting a new life in a host country. We all had to consistently juggle between the necessity to hold on to our heritage and the imperatives to adapt to new cultures and traditions.
One of the major issues raised at this gathering was how to strike a balance between preserving Rwandan values at the same time embracing the American way of living.
We're going to show them how Rwandans are hardworking people, how Rwandan women can actually raise children, go to work, have a work-life balance, and at the same time still be able to improve the same values that we've learned from back home to here, implement the culture in our children, have them learn Kinyarwanda, the dances, and have basically create a little Rwanda in America.
Also, it was nice to see all the women get together to discuss how to raise their next generation, how to be a productive member of the society in the diaspora while preserving their heritage as Rwandans.
At this inaugural U.S.-Rwanda Women Diaspora Convention, Rwanda was hailed for its efforts of empowering women by giving them access to decision-making positions. Currently, Rwanda leads the world in women representation in parliament. 64% of the seats are held by women.
Now, they're called our best friend, and they share much of our long human history, but scientists do not yet agree on when and where the evolutionary split happened between dogs and wolves. Roseanne Scarborough has that story.
At the Westminster Dog Show in New York, competitors like this wired-hair Vizsla vie to become America's dog. At the beginning, though, there was only one, the common ancestor of dogs and wolves.
Previous studies have estimated that this common ancestor lived about 10 to 15,000 years ago.
But on a polar expedition to Siberia, a research team discovered this Taimyr wolf bone. Lab tests say its genetic history dates back to the last ice age.
This wolf belonged to the population that was the last known common ancestor between wolves and dogs. And therefore, we have to revise the timing of the split between wolves and dogs to at least 30,000 years ago.
Or twice as long ago as thought. But did domestication and the evolutionary split happen at the same time? Scientists worldwide are contributing to a massive database to find out. Gregor Larson at the University of Oxford heads the project.
We are focused more on getting data, both genetic data and morphological data, from well over 1,000, a couple thousand ancient dogs and wolves going back 30,000 years or so across all of the old world and the new world, in an effort to try and actually watch that process happen of dogs becoming wolves, the spread of both genetic and morphometric signatures across time and space.
Dogs were the first domesticated animal of any kind, and Larson says they changed the course of civilization.
So really what it does is it kicks off this very new way that humans have of relating to the natural world. And there's an argument that says if you don't have dogs, then there's a chance that the whole idea of domestication doesn't form for quite a while after that, and it delays anything else that's happened after that, or it makes it not even possible.
Larson expects to release a major study in the near future, and others with his collaborators during the next several years, using the common data. Roseanne Scarborough, VOA News, Washington.
Well, it's time now for a short break, but still to come on Africa 54. His artwork goes back to the 1960s, and he remains one of Nigeria's most respected academics. His story and paintings coming up next. Also, check out our website at channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. Now, his work goes back to the 1960s when Professor Yusuf Grillo came to international recognition. He had a rare exhibition in Lagos recently and remains one of Nigeria's most respected academics and painters. Melinda Akinlami has the story.
For a crowd to gather like this, especially for an exhibition, then there must be something extra special about it. Indeed, there is. An artist who has taught and influenced many others. Professor Yusuf Grillo is exhibiting after a while, and what does he have to show for it? Nothing but the best. from works of art done on oil and canvas to stained glass to boards, would display his signature style of showcasing tradition in purple and blue hues, which is still very visible. We see the lead drummer beating the way into the heart of the beholder, who silently hears the sounds of drums. Then there is Marian Anamata, who appeared to be in a king contest to win the king's affection. The Harvest and Eyo Masquerade are also part of many works here that has captured many for decades. So, what does the maestro think of the accolades showered on him?
There is no magic about it. You are yourself. You can't change, excepting you are not sincere. If you are sincere, you will always be yourself. You may improve, but people will be able to see the trajectory of how you start, how you have developed, and where you are. So it's no mystery.
Yusuf Grillo has certainly sealed his name in the sands of time, and the nation of art lovers will always be grateful to a rebel with a brush.
Well, an exhibition of a different kind in Washington recently, as hundreds of different brands of whiskey from around the world came to the U.S. Capitol as part of a Whiskey Fest 2016. Distillers, master blenders, and other experts were there, as was VOA's Todd Grossons.
It's Whiskey Fest. The popular showcase is held annually in New York City, Chicago, San Francisco, and now in Washington, D.C. Here you can peruse more than 350 whiskey brands from the best distillers and master blenders from around the world. Imagine an array of single malt and blended Scotch, bourbon and rye from North America, the UK and Ireland, and even Asia. And the best part? A tasting in a pouring booth. Yes, they call it a pouring booth. Where takes place the smooth move of an expert pour. And the most important pour, right down the hatch. While a whiskey buzz is an expected side effect, the intended focus is education, so say the folks that run Whiskey Fest. Fans can attend a variety of seminars on tasting to crafting your own whiskey. Some require a small fee, but to many that's a small price to pay to sample some of the best rated and most expensive whiskeys on the market. I'm Todd Grossons for Africa 54.
Well, that's our show for today. I'm Vincent McCory. Now remember that you can find all of the latest news from the continent and the world. Just point your browser to voaafrica.com.
And while you're on the web, please visit us at channelstv.com as well. I'm Cynthia Are. Thanks for watching and have a good night.